Welcome back to my channel. My name is Hallie and I'm an adult American Girl doll collector. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about the best American Girl doll outfits for the historical Best Friends collection. Now, if you guys haven't seen my last commentary video, which if you haven't, I highly suggest that you do, where I kind of just talked about the main characters in their respective historical years and the best outfits that I thought out of their entire collections as a whole. And that was really fun to do, but I wanted to do the best friends in their own separate entity because they had their own thing going on in their own respective outfits. So I wanted to talk about that. And in this video, I am not going to be talking about Cecile and Mary Grace. And I know that they are supposed to be each other's best friend, and that technically coincides with this video, but I already did them in the last commentary video, for the main historical dolls. And yeah, they kind of were a package deal. Like they kind of like their stories intertwined with each other and they were released together. Whereas with the historical Best Friends collection, they were released sometimes years, almost even maybe like even close to almost a decade or two after the main historical doll was already released. Also, I wanted to create a side note to let you guys know that I'm going to be going in chronological order and not based off of their historical year from earliest to latest, but actually in chronological order from when they were actually released as the main character's best friend, because they were all released one year after another from like the mid 2000s almost to the tail end of the 2000s. So without all the rambling, let's get into it. Our first doll that we are going to be talking about is Miss Nellie O'Malley, who was released in 2004, and she is Samantha Parkington's best friend, and Samantha is the historical doll of 1904. Now, here's some lore on Samantha and Nellie. So Samantha was released as one of the first 3 historical dolls that had been ever released under Pleasant Company in 1986. And it actually took 18 years for Samantha to have Nellie released as her best friend. And Nellie was released in 2004, so it had been a whole 18 years. Now, eventually, Samantha and Nellie were both archived and retired together in 2009. But as we know, Samantha eventually was re-released in the Be Forever line in 2014, just without Nellie. And so Nellie has been retired since Samantha had retired back in 2009. But now getting that out of the way, I'm going to say what, in my opinion, is the best outfit from Nellie's collection. And that would be the Irish dance outfit of today. This is so cute. And this was actually pretty hard for me because I do love Nellie's collection. And I think that she had some pretty cute outfits that I would say I was fighting between like 2 of them. But this was definitely one of my favorite. And this was released in Nellie's collection in 2005. So about a year after Nellie was introduced. And it eventually retired 2 years later in 2007. And this was a part of the Dance Outfits of Today collection. I believe that there was an African dance outfit of today, and then there was also 2 powwow dresses of today, which was 1 and 2. If you guys do want to see me talk about one of the powwow of today dresses, I definitely think that you should go and check my first outfit video commentary about the historical dolls, like the main girls, and I kind of went in depth on which one that I thought was favorite for Kaya's collection. But I love this outfit for Nellie. It is so cute, and I love the green. It definitely highlights a lot of her cute features that she has. But I love the dark green velvet texture and color on the dress, and I love the light green detailing on the top, on the bell of the sleeves, and on the skirt. And I love the headband as well. And I love that, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe this is like a Celtic, like a cultural Celtic designing. But I do think that it's really cute. I believe, now I don't have this outfit, but I think that this was kind of like embroidered on it, I believe. But this is so cute. And I love the fact that you can also have the headband yourself, like they have it on the side that you can have. And I also love the socks and the shoes. Now, I do kind of wish that the socks were like either a dark green color or a light green color, like it's detailed on the dress, but I don't know if that is like not culturally accurate to have that as a color for the shoes. But either way, I think this is very cute. And I love Nellie. She is so adorable. Every time I see someone either on AGIG, AGTube or just in like the AG collecting space amongst social media. I think that she is so adorable, and I love everybody putting her in her outfits, even Samantha's outfits, and even modern outfits. But yeah, this is so cute, and I love her. The second best friend that we are going to be talking about is Miss Elizabeth Cole, who was introduced in 2005, and she is Felicity Merriman's best friend, and Felicity is the historical doll of 1774. Now, with a little bit of context, Felicity was introduced under Pleasant Company in 1991, and Elizabeth was introduced as Felicity's best friend in 2005, as I stated before, which had been about a good 14 years, which is a decent span of time, like how with Samantha and Nellie. But yeah, Elizabeth was introduced as part of Felicity's storyline in like her books and also in the movie in 2005. So obviously they introduced her as a doll in the best friend line around that year. And both dolls were archived in 2011. And so they were only available as a pair for like a total of 6 years at that point. So without all the rambling, my favorite in Elizabeth's collection was kind of a no-brainer for me because I remember seeing this in a catalog. I love Elizabeth's riding outfit. This was introduced in Elizabeth's collection with Elizabeth actually like in her release year in 2005 and was retired in 2010. So that was a pretty decent time for, you know, the outfit to be around. But I will preface this to say that every single best friend barely had any outfits. So it's understandable why this outfit and a lot of the best friends' outfits lasted for a pretty good span of time, just because there wasn't a lot of outfits in comparison to the actual original characters that they are best friends of, which makes sense. But yeah, I think this is so cute. I love the pink kind of dress, like the over dress on it. And I think this is an underdress. That's like the white little frills on like the neck and on the bell of the sleeves and on the bottom of the skirt part of the dress. I love the little buttons that are, I think this is kind of like gold buttons that are on the sleeves and on the little flat part of the dress. I love the little black, little thin bow that kind of looks like the same bow from Josefina's Christmas dress, her mantilla dress. I think that that's so cute. I love that outfit. I talked about that in the first historical commentary outfit video. And I also love the hat. The hat is low-key my favorite part. Like, it really ties in the outfit together with the little white feather in the cap and her shoes with the little pink bow on it. Oh, it is so adorable. But I really love Felicity and Elizabeth together. I feel like their outfits complemented each other very well. And yeah, I miss Elizabeth. She was great and I love her. And I think that her and Mary Grace, in terms of like their aura, is kind of the same to me. I don't know. Correct. Like, if you guys feel the same, like if you guys get what I'm saying, like definitely say it in the comments. But I feel like her and Mary Grace have like almost the same like vibe, even though they're supposed to be like a couple hundred years apart from each other. They give the same vibe to me. But I love Elizabeth. I think she is so cute and I miss her and I miss her line and I miss her and Felicity. And yeah. The third doll we are going to be talking about is Miss Emily Bennett, who is Molly McIntyre's best friend, and Molly is the historical doll of 1944. Now, Molly was released in 1986, so she is one of the original 3 historical dolls that was released, along with Samantha and Felicity. So there's kind of like a commonality there. So it was kind of like they picked the oldest released dolls to kind of have best friends first. So it didn't take until 20 years later for Emily to be released in 2006 as Molly's best friend. And I believe that Molly and Emily both retired at the same time in 2013. Obviously, we know that Molly ended up coming back during the Be Forever collection in 2018. And then she eventually got relaunched in 2022, but Emily basically got retired and put in the American Girl archives when Molly retired with her the first time in 2013. So just for some context. But my favorite out of Emily's collection as a whole, again, there's not that many for the best friends in terms of outfits, but the best in my opinion has to be Emily's snowsuit. It is so cute. Now, this was released in Emily's collection in the same year that Emily was introduced in 2006, and it retired in 2012. So it had a 6-year run, and it is so cute. It was also paired with Emily's wooden sled, which honestly is so adorable. I love the wooden type look on it, and I love the little stripes on it. It kind of gives me Christmas on the handle. It's so cute. But yeah, I love the fur that's on the hood. I love the little gold buckle that's on the belt and on the zipper as well. I think this is kind of like little blue flowers that are so cute. It's like in this nice little dark blue color, and it's going along the zippers on both sides. I love the little cute white knitted gloves, little mittens, and she has the same matching as like the decoration on the paneling of the suit part of the jacket as the color of her pants. And I believe these are like snow pants. Technically, they're not like regular pants. And then I love the cute little boots that she has with the zippers that go up on top. I think that's very unique. But yeah, overall, I think this is so cute. And this was associated with Molly, an American Girl on the Homefront movie, which I remember watching, and I really love this. So yeah, I think this is so cute, and I definitely feel like the blue makes her eyes pop. I definitely think that even though Emily has a classic mold, she gives me like the same as Ruthie, which I'll talk about later, where even though they have a classic mold, they are very unique in the way that they look. So yeah, she's really cute, and I love her. The fourth doll that we are going to be talking about is Miss Ivy Ling, who is Julie Albright's best friend, and Julie is the historical doll of 1974. Now, you guys already know how I feel about Julie's outfits. We talked about that in the first commentary video on the historical, the main girls. But Ivy is my girl. Like, if I were to rank all of these historical best friends right now, Ivy would be taking that first place for me, in my opinion. And that says a lot. But before I go on my tangent about how much I am an Ivy stan, let's get into this dynamic of their release dates, because it's actually quite interesting. So Julie and Ivy were actually released together in 2007. So this is a very interesting dynamic in comparison to the other historical dolls and their best friends that I've talked about so far, because some of the historical dolls didn't have their best friend until 15 plus years later. So I think it's very interesting that American Girl chose that approach to have Julie and Ivy released together. However, it didn't last too long. She did have a pretty good run, but Ivy was eventually retired in 2014. But Julie didn't also retire with Ivy, like most of the historical dolls that I've talked about with their best friends. Julie is still around, and she's never retired, as far as I'm concerned. I don't think she ever has. So Ivy just kind of retired, I believe, a year after Molly and Emily, who retired in 2013. Eventually, Molly came back, as we talked about earlier, but Ivy just never came back. And I honestly think that they need to do a thing where they do limited edition dolls to bring them back, because I will take Ivy in a second. Ivy is that girl. So, yeah. And honestly, I feel like we need to have like more like Asian historical dolls in the historical line collection. But I'm getting ahead of myself. I will talk about that later. But out of all of Ivy's outfits, which is really crazy, I think Ivy only has like 2 outfits other than her meet outfit, which again, as I said, like the other historical dolls, they like the best friends, they don't have that many outfits, but Ivy, I believe, has like the least. Besides her meet outfit, I think it's just the outfit that I'm going to talk about and then another outfit. But yeah, my favorite outfit from Ivy's collection has to be Ivy's New Year outfit. And this was released in the same year that Ivy and Julie were released, which is in 2007. And then it eventually got retired in 2014 with Ivy, which is understandable because she literally only had 2 outfits besides the outfit that she comes with in the box. But yeah, it was actually associated with the books Good Luck Ivy and Happy New Year Julie. And I actually had Good Luck Ivy, the book, and literally I was so glad that Ivy had a book in her own where she kind of did a deep dive on talking about her and trying to tap into her culture and trying to just deal with a lot of things that is really relatable to a lot of kids. So I thought that it was really good. Plus Ivy was my queen just because she literally had nonstop looks from the bob to the outfits, everything she gave. But I love this. This is like more of a cheapao, I believe. Because I know there's like, obviously we have a cheapao and we have a cheongsam. But I believe this is more of like on the cheapao type. But yes, this is so cute. I love the red, which always symbolizes good fortune and good luck, and whatever, what have you. And I love the gold detailing of the little pattern on her cheapao and also on the little kind of gold detailing on the collar and around kind of in the meeting part between, like, it's kind of like in an arch side on the top of the dress, which I think is really cute. Also on the bottom as well. I love the black Mary Janes, and also the little flower that she has is so cute, and the earrings. Now, if I were to get this outfit, I would never let this outfit go. This outfit was actually retailed at like $24 at the beginning, and then towards the retirement was around like $28. It is like way more expensive secondhand now. Like, it's giving, like, we're looking at almost, I think that I saw some that's like almost even over $100. And that's because she's like retired. But yeah, this is a cute outfit. I love this. I think this is not the first like Chinese Lunar New Year outfit. I believe they had one from 1996, and they also now have the Lunar New Year celebration outfit, which I believe came out in 2021, which you can still purchase on the American Girl Doll website. But overall, I love this outfit. It is so cute, and it's definitely very unique for various different reasons. But yeah, I love Ivy. She's great. And I always like to highlight her because she deserves more love, period. The fifth and last historical best friend that we are going to be talking about is Miss Ruthie Smith, who is Kit Kittredge's best friend, and Kit Kittredge is the historical doll of 1934. Now, here's some lore on Miss Kit and Miss Ruthie. So, Kit was released under American Girl in 2000. So, my birth year, hey! And Ruthie was released in 2008. And Ruthie was the last historical best friend to be released. And I believe she was one of the last to retire because she retired in 2014, which was the same year that Ivy was released. And just like Ivy, Ruthie was also just retired on her own. She didn't retire with Kit. Kit has never retired from as far as I know, just like the same with Julie. But yeah, I think Ruthie is so cute. Like I talked about when I talked about Emily, even though they have a classic mold, I feel like they have very distinct and unique features that really make certain outfits. And I feel like it was strategic, but certain outfits on them definitely, like, they really complement because of what they look like in comparison to the outfits that they have, which of course I'm pretty sure that American Girl and Pleasant Company made these things happen on purpose. But the best in Ruthie's outfits, which honestly, Kit and Ruthie both have really good outfits, like the same as I feel about Julie and Ivy, like they both ate down together. But it has to be Ruthie's play outfit. And it was actually introduced the same year that Ruthie came out in 2008, and then it retired in 2011. So it actually retired about a good 3 years before Ruthie had retired. But again, I feel like Ruthie had some more outfits in comparison to Ivy. That's why I feel like it was justified to get rid of Ruthie's play outfit eventually and archive it, because Ruthie did have a little bit more outfits. But yeah, I love this outfit. I love both Kit's play outfit as well, because oftentimes the historical dolls would have like kind of complementary outfits. So it'd be like Kit's play outfit, Ruthie's play outfit, Felicity's riding outfit, and then Elizabeth's riding outfit, like kind of like that, where they kind of, were able to do that. Because, as friends, especially when we were kids, we would, kind of mimic our same outfits and styles and stuff like that. I know I did with my friends as kids. But yeah, this outfit is so cute. I love the little hat. It's like this nice little, I guess this is like a white cream color, but more of like a white. I love the little blue ribbon with the little flower on there. I love the top. It is so cute. It's got like this nice like bluish purplish color, and it has like kind of like white detailing on the sleeves and on the neck. I love the little bow. The belt. Oh, I love like the American Girl doll belts are so cute because they are so little. But yeah, I love the khaki type. I guess these are kind of more like bloomers, or in that case, in the 1930s, they called them knickers. And they also have like little socks that I think are cute. And I love the shoes. The shoes are so adorable with like the khaki color and the little shoelaces, the detailing. Ooh, chef kiss, like mwah, so cute. If I don't even know if I even need a Ruthie doll to even have this outfit. I've seen this outfit several times, not only with AG doll collectors that have Ruthie or just have the outfit, but just in general, like secondhand. This is an outfit that I would just get. Now, I don't know if I would let my dolls wear the hat, because I feel like the hat might be a little too much for like my modern-esque dolls. But yeah, it's definitely cute just as it is, just in general. So adorable. I would definitely get this on its own. Literally 10 out of 10. All right, so now that we're done talking about the historical dolls that we did have, I wanted to show you guys some of the historical dolls that are still active under the American Girl doll brand that I wish had best friends if they still had the historical best friends line. So first off, we are starting with Miss Claudie Wells, who is the historical doll of 1922. I love 1920s fashion. I think the flapper girl, cotton club type vibe, is everything. And I'm glad that they incorporate that in Claudie's story a little bit. But best friend with finger waves, like a Josephine Baker special would be cute. Now, I know that wasn't really a popular hairstyle amongst kids. That was more of like a hairstyle for young adult women. But I don't know, just showing some nuance or more diversity in 1920s hairstyles would be great, because 1920s has some good hairstyles and just overall just good aesthetic, period. Speaking of hairstyles, I would love to see if Melody Ellison, the historical doll of 1964, would have a best friend. I think Melody is so cute. I love kind of like her mod style. And yeah, I think it's just really cute, and it would be nice for her to have a friend that they would have like matching outfits, because the 1960s and 1970s is such a good time for US American fashion. Like, they're one of the two eras that had something that was really, really good. So it would be cool for her to have a friend and have like matching outfits. I think that would be great, honestly. And then the last doll that I would love to see have a best friend would be Josefina Montoya. And Josefina is so cute. I love her so much. And I don't know, it would be fun if she had a friend that was a goat herder, and that was like a whole thing, because if you know about Josefina and the goat lore, but that would be really cool. And I love Josefina, and she deserves more love because she's iconic. All right, so I hope you guys had a really good time watching this. This was so much fun for me. Shout out to the American Girl Doll Wiki, who is under the fandom website. That helped me, just like with the first video, do the whole thing of trying to figure out when things were released, when things were archived. And it gave me a good walk down memory lane, because when these best friends were released, it was during the time where I was really getting into being an American Girl super fan as a kid. So yeah, I saw them when they were released. I saw them when they were retired. So all of these outfits that I showed you in the best friends line, I have some type of nostalgic feeling towards, because I remember flipping through the catalog and seeing every one of these outfits. And that's why I'm so passionate, if you couldn't tell, about these. But yeah, I wish they brought the best friends line back. even if it wasn't adding new dolls, but like just even bringing back some like the best friends that they already had would be great. Because I don't know, like the main girls had their own, you know, adventures, their own triumphs and traumas in their own right. But I feel like the best friends gave some duality and some nuance on different people from different backgrounds, and having that as kind of to show that what everybody, giving a glimpse into what some people's lives were like during those respective historical years. And that's what I love about American Girl, is like them talking about history and almost giving a humanistic side to it. And of course, we all know that, especially when we're talking about U.S. history, which is what American Girl focuses on the most, it would be the fact that we already know that these people existed in these time periods. I mean, we even have family members, right? That we have grandparents and great-grandparents and even great-great-great-great-grandparents that lived during these time periods. But having these characters kind of showing inside, like a bird's eye view to what life was like in these certain historical eras during different huge moments in time for us in American history, it was just so great. But that being said, I wish we did have more diversity in our stories that are being told in our historical line. I did talk a little bit about Ivy and how she kind of had less in comparison to the other historical best friends. The historical best friends, like I talked about, already didn't have much, but like Ivy, they kind of dropped the ball a little bit on her, especially when she was really well loved and still is a well loved historical character, or just American Girl doll in general. But yeah, having like possibly a Hispanic or a Latinx historical doll, because right now all we have is Josefina. Same with indigenous dolls, we only have Kaya. We're finally getting more diverse voices in terms of just beyond Addie when it comes to Black historical dolls, where we have Claudie, and we used to have Cecile, and we have Melody, which is really great. But yeah, I would love for us to have more voices, especially for Asian historical dolls, because right now all we had was Ivy, and Ivy was the side character. And of course we have Pacific Islander characters like Nenea, but I feel like Nenea kind of has her own standalone because she is the main character in her story, whereas Ivy was the side character. So that would be really great to have more diversity with that. But again, we still have some more room to grow. We still have more historical eras that we could cover with the American Girl doll brand. So I'm very interested to see what they're going to do, because again, like how I talked about in the first video, like right now the historical line is just stagnant. So it would be great for the historical line to have more room to grow and them to be able to restart it eventually, and for us to have more stories being told, because the historical line is what started it all. So yeah, but anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Mwah. Bye.